Hi there, Mouseketeers! PrincessMinnie here. Welcome back to my channel. I have something completely new for you today. I know you out there, if you've watched my videos before, think I'm a little bit crafty, and I am just a little bit crafty. For example, the ears that I made in my last ear making video. But I am not the craftiest person in the world. Today I'm going to be showing you a craft that is going to be super easy to make and can be super inexpensive if you don't do it exactly like I do it, because I definitely went a more expensive route with this, but it can be done way cheaper than what I'm going to show you. I'm just always a little bit extra in life, and I'll spend that cash to have something to be exactly like I like it. So a little clue about what today's craft is going to be are these guys right here. We have Jack Skellington, Zero, and Sally. I have to say, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit during this video, and this is hopefully going to be a nice short video that you can follow easily at home to make this craft yourself or make it your own way. But I have to say, Nightmare Before Christmas is quickly becoming one of my most enjoyable films, and not just Disney, but in all films. Before I start talking about Nightmare Before Christmas, I am going to talk about where the inspiration for this craft came from, and that was about a month ago. I found the Disney Damsels, and Rowan did this craft with her sister Abir. They each did their own, and they both turned out phenomenally. And they did this video in collaboration with Saria from DreamItDIY, which is a really cool craft channel that I need to start watching more and more and more, and you should definitely check out as well. I'm going to put all those videos that you need to go watch to see other versions of this craft down in the description box below. But I didn't want to just bite off somebody else's craft and just copy it. As soon as I saw the amazing crafts that Rowan and her sister Abir made, I was like, ding! I thought of something that I had seen on my last Disney trip, and I was like, I need to make it my own way and this way. So those ladies completely inspired me. They had phenomenal crafts, but I'm gonna put my own little spin on it, and you may want to do this craft kind of my way, or you might want to do it their way. Or you might want to completely change this up and make it completely different characters in a different movie, but this might be inspirational to you to do your own craft. I hope that intro was not as long as I feel that it was, because we're going to get started right now. So today we will be making a wreath. Specifically a Nightmare Before Christmas inspired wreath that probably is a little bit more Halloween appropriate, but could definitely also be left out for fall or Christmas time, or if you're a Nightmare Before Christmas fan, throughout the whole year. So I decided to make kind of a medium-sized wreath. This is, you can see it in relation to my face, and you can decide what kind of size you would want for your wreath. But this one I got at Joann's. I think it was about $6, and Joann's usually has really good coupons and sales, so if you're smarter than me and you take advantage of them, which I did not, you could get it cheaper, or you could get it somewhere else. If you could get it somewhere else cheaper as well, like AC Moore, Michael's, maybe even Walmart? I'm not sure. But this is a 12-inch wreath, just in case you're wondering. What are we going to do with this? We are going to wrap this bad boy in yarn to look like half of it is going to represent Jack Skellington, the other half is going to represent Sally. So in Saria and Rowan and Abir's videos, what they did was they made individual wreaths, and the Jack Skellington wreath had black and white yarn, and then they actually created their own Jack Skellington head, which they can show you how to do. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing something totally different, less crafty, more expensive, but way easier. So you can decide what you want to do. There's no wrong way. Theirs came out amazing, and I'm hoping mine's going to come out amazing as well, to be honest. Of course, right? But so they took one and they covered it with black and white yarn. It was absolutely gorgeous, and so it totally reminded me of Jack Skellington. Then they made a little Jack Skellington face, put it here, and made some gorgeous black and white flowers to put on it. Like, I have to use that technique to do something in the future because I love it, but we're not going to be doing that today. Like I said, ours is going to be super, super simple and easy. And then Rowan, actually, she made a Sally inspired wreath that DreamItDIY also did, where instead of using yarn, you cover in felt to look like Sally's dress, and then you can draw with black Sharpie to look like the stitches, combining her materials. And I thought that looked really, really amazing and cute, but I decided I wanted to have one wreath to represent both Sally and Jack, and I kind of thought that the two different materials, yarn and felt, would look really weird together. So I decided to do a more deconstructed, Sally, where I'm just going to use yarn colors that represent her dress. So that's the plan. That's what we're making. That's what you're going to see really, really soon. And I hope that you do this yourself. Anywho, you need a wreath, Avi. You need your black and white yarn to represent Mr. Skellington. Now, I'm not representing Zero in this wreath, but I do actually have a wreath in mind that I would love to make probably next Halloween, although I'll try to make it a lot earlier so that you guys can copy it or do your own thing with it. But I'd love to do one that's inspired by Zero. I really do love Zero. He's my favorite Nightmare Before Christmas character. And then you also need to get yarn that represents the colors of Sally's dress. Now, if you wanted, you could also get, like, I think her dress has like a light blue and it also has a teal, or maybe I'm thinking her skin's light blue and her dress has teal. This is a super stylized Sally, so that's not going to really help me out. But, I mean, honestly, I thought getting 3 colors, 1 teal was totally acceptable, and you can do it however you want. And I'm not going to draw on this because drawing on yarn would probably look really, really bad. Like, the felt looks awesome. Go check out Rowan, how she did it, and DreamItDIY to see how she did it. But I'm also going to just throw in a little bit of black here and there to represent the stitches. So it's going to be much more of like a theoretical Sally than an obvious Sally. And it looks great in my head. Like, in my head, it's pretty grand. We'll see how it turns out. I bought really big yarn because that was the only size they had colors in. And I bought a yarn that specifically looked a little coarse. This is Red Heart. And Red Heart, I mean, it feels fine, but there's nicer yarn out there, like quality-wise, softness-wise. But I wanted it to look a little bit coarser because I thought that would look better with representing Sally and Jack, to be honest. Last thing that you need, and last thing I'm going to say before we get started with the craft, is that the other fabulous ladies who inspired me, they made their own Jack and Sally faces. Oh my god, they were so amazing. And I was just like, nope. Like, that's pretty much that. The Jack one didn't look as hard, but the Sally to me looked just impossible. And I just thought, okay, so at the time, about a month ago, I didn't like Nightmare Before Christmas at all. But I do like Disney. So I thought, well, how can I make this my own, do less work, spend more money, just being Kate, you know, and kind of incorporate more obvious Disney into this. If you watched my last haul, you might have an idea. I got my friend Christina to pick me up a Jack and Sally Minnie and Mickey set. And I'm just so over the moon about these guys. I had seen them when I was in Disneyland and I thought, well, I don't really like Nightmare Before Christmas, but I do like these guys, so maybe one day I'll get them. And one day came a lot sooner than I thought it would. So I'm going to put them in the wreath rather than making my own faces, but if you're interested in being more crafty than I am and saving money, go the route of the other ladies in the videos below. First thing, I'm going to start with my wreath, and I'm going to start with my black yarn, and I'm not going to do any measuring. I'm just going to count the number of times that I wrap the yarn around this, and I think it's going to work out fine. This craft is not necessarily going to look like you spent $1,000 on it. Oh, and by the way, those Mickey and Minnie's I got at cost pickups, so they cost me $20 each. So this is not a cheap craft if you do it my way, but I know that I'm going to have this wreath for like ever. I might even leave this up for months and months and months out of the year. Who knows if I'll even take it down. We're such big Nightmare Before Christmas fans now, I might just leave this up all the time. So to me, you know, with all the materials, maybe it costs $55 to $60. You can easily spend that on a wreath on Etsy. So I don't feel bad about it at all. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black yarn. I'm gonna get closer to the camera to show you, but just the general idea. I'm gonna take this, I'm going to put it at the top of my wreath, and I'm just gonna randomly, arbitrarily decide which is the back, and on the back I'm gonna hot glue it, and then I'm going to start wrapping the black yarn around and around nice and tight. Then I'm going to do the same with the white yarn, and I'm going to alternate white and black until this half of the wreath is covered in Jack Skellington yarn. So there's this kind of like ugly line, which I'm going to say is the top. And the great news is that eventually this will be covered by Mickey and Minnie. So if I decide that one side looks worse than the other, that's the side that gets covered with Mickey and Minnie, no worries. All right, so this will be the back right here that's facing you. I just put a dollop of hot glue right there, and a little tip, I've learned this from making ears and burning myself almost every single time. Just let the glue like set for a second. It's not going to set instantly, and then if you do happen to touch it, you won't totally burn yourself. So I'm going to put my yarn there and pat it down. This is the back again, so it does not need to look nice, which is convenient because it won't. Okay, so that's drying, and what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start taking my yarn, and I mean, you could cut this if you really cared or wanted to, but again, laziness. I'm just going to start passing it through the ball. So I'm going to wrap, and I'm going to make sure that these are coming pretty closely together. And this is a homemade craft. So what's it going to look like? Homemade, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think, I don't know if anybody else out there watches, but I watched The Pioneer Woman on the Food Network. I've been a fan of hers since way before she had a TV show. Just saying. Just a little brag. So stupid. But she always just says if something doesn't come out right, you call it rustic. And there we go. All right, so I'm passing it through and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And let's see, we have 1, 2, 3 so far. And I just keep kind of smushing them together to make sure they look good together. If you have a kitty cat, this is probably a craft to put them in the other room for. I'm surprised. My cat's kind of just sitting there very calmly. He's not really caring that I'm playing with the yarn that he loves so much. It's kind of shocking. Again, I'm only caring how the front of this looks, so there's a gap here, not too bad, but if I flip this over to, this is the side I'm going to be displaying, you can see it's coming along, and I've been smushing them together every time that I wrap it. Like so. It does help if you have long nails. Not a necessity. But a helpful tool. I think I'm going to just keep going until I have like a healthier chunk in black, and then we'll switch to white. Okay, so in all I wrapped this 30 times, and I got this small chunk. This is maybe about 2 inches wide, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to the white. Now what I could do is I could cut the black ribbon, and this is my back side. I could cut the black yarn, I should say, and then glue it, and then I could glue the piece of white, but I think that just sounds like too much work. And this is my back side anyway. It's going to be ugly. That's fine. So I'm going to take this black string here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie the white string to it. So I cut my black string so it's a lot easier to work with that way. And I promise this is a lot easier if you're not trying to do it on camera as well. So if you can tie your shoes or tie a bow, you can do this step. Black string and white string. Loop it around. And make a little knot with the white. And then I have some excess tails of both colors, so I'm just going to cut them. I don't have to cut them all the way, just slightly so they don't show on the good side. So you can see I have a little tail there. This is against on my back side. Just going to start wrapping, passing my yarn through the center and making sure I'm keeping count of how many times it's going around. And I don't have to make sure to kind of smush the sides together every single time. I can do that in a big batch. Honestly guys, this craft is really easy. It's just slightly time consuming. I kind of meant to time myself to see how long this was going to take. But my guess would be that if like this is your first time working with something like this, you might be looking at like an hour. I don't think, if you decide to do the other version where you're also making your own Jack Skellington and Sally faces, it's going to take you considerably longer, especially because paint, the paint needs to dry. But with this, once you have the wrapping down, I mean, you could just sit and do this in front of your TV as long as you were pretty much keeping count. This is definitely not as difficult at all. Okay, 2 quick tips that I wanted to share as I've been working on this. The first is that this is what the back looks like when you knot here, and I actually double knotted. I found the first knot was a little flimsy and would kind of like move around, but the second knot definitely seems to have gotten it, and like sometimes the yarn would actually kind of just cover this up, and that's fine, and sometimes it wouldn't, and that's fine too. If I really feel the need to, I can trim these more, I can hot glue them down, but most likely they'll just show up against the wall anyway. The second tip, I'm going to show you the good side, is that this is what it looks like when I wrap the yarn around 30 times, like not overlapping, like I'm fixing one really quickly here that overlapped a little bit. It looks pretty bad, right? Because like you see all the white parts of the wreath in the middle. All you have to do is like slowly move and squish it down, and all that white space disappears, and it's so much easier just to do it in one movement at the end than worry about every single piece lining up perfectly. And this part won't line up perfectly until you start wrapping the next part. So it's like, don't stress yourself out about things you can't fix right now. So that is a lot smaller of a segment, and let's look real quick. This is what it's looking like so far. I think it's really starting to look great. I think it's really starting to look like Jack. I'm seeing it. I hope you're seeing it. What I'm going to do is go back to my normal seat and start talking to you guys a little bit throughout and show you progress updates. And if I think of any more tips, I'll share them. But I think my biggest tip is you'll never know unless you try it. Which is actually kind of also one of the messages of Nightmare Before Christmas, as I'm realizing it. Jack didn't know he would be really bad at Christmas until he tried it. So, you'll be really good at this wreath though, so don't worry about it. And the good part too is like, if you're like a measurement fanatic and you think, oh, this white segment, it's too big, well then you just smush it a little bit more. Or, oh no, the black segment is a little too small, then you just fluff it out a little bit more and it'll fix itself. It's not a big deal. That's also why you don't want to be using too much hot glue. Like, I have only hot glued that one first piece of yarn, and I just tied it in knots when I did the color changes, because you can't smush it and move it around if you hot glue it. Plus, it will take you so much more time for the same result. So don't worry, the yarn will hold itself together. It will be fine. You will be good. You can do this. Okay, I'm ready to start moving on to the white, but isn't this looking great? I'm like actually super excited about this. And if you guys decide to do this, whether you decide to do a Nightmare Before Christmas wreath, or whether you decide you want to do like a holiday Mickey and Minnie wreath, similarly themed, but you'll do red and green, because I'm thinking about doing that. Like red and green as your yarn colors. I think that would work out really perfectly. Sometimes the yarn gets tangled up, especially if you're like talking and not thinking. So don't worry about it. You can fix it. It's just yarn. It's not a big deal. If you need to cut it, you cut it. You just tie it again. So anyway, if you decide to do this, no matter what pattern or holiday you decide to represent for, what movie, what characters, I would love to see them. I would love to see it because maybe you would actually give me some ideas. If you have any ideas also for another wreath, like maybe a holiday one, ooh, maybe a Thanksgiving one, because I don't have like any Thanksgiving decor. It's very sad for that holiday around here. Actually, I mean, this is totally talking about the wrong holiday, but I guess that's also very Nightmare Before Christmas because Jack also wasn't thinking about his holiday. I'm not a Thanksgiving fan. I don't like Thanksgiving food, never have. I mean, yeah, some of it I like, but some of it's like very normal, like, okay, mashed potatoes. Now, first of all, I don't eat that stuff right on the reg anymore anyway, because I'm very low carb. So it's kind of nice to have that as like a Thanksgiving treat. But I don't like turkey, like not even a little bit. So I feel like I'm like mostly eating carbs on Thanksgiving, which is fine, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite meal whatsoever. I much prefer, like, I'm going to be doing Friendsgiving, and I think I'm going to do prime rib as like the main meat source, because that's what I like. I am a much bigger like a meat carnivore than a bird carnivore. Actually, last year, John and I were just talking about it. We're like, we think that we might start going away like every Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, our wedding anniversary is right after Thanksgiving too, December 1st. So it's coming up. And so last year we decided for Thanksgiving / our anniversary, we would go to Universal. So we had become Universal pass holders. That has since expired. Because we just don't see the need to go to Universal Studios every year. But we went during Thanksgiving and it was phenomenal. I said to John, I was thinking like Disney, right? Like Disney is crowded on Thanksgiving. There was no one. There was no one in Universal. We did everything we wanted to do in both parks in one day, which was great because then the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were crazy busy. But people who came to Universal did not care to go to the park on Thanksgiving Day. So, we actually wound up going to like this burger place, NBC Grill, for lunch, and the waitress came over and said to me, you know, we actually have a Thanksgiving meal. It's not on the menu, but you can still order it, and it's turkey and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce and stuffing and blah 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 blah. And in my head I was just like, let's let her wrap this spiel up so I can order the ribs. She was really nice. I'm just totally teasing about that. But yeah, I am not a Thanksgiving person whatsoever. So, but I do like Thanksgiving decorations. Like I like the whole things where things will say like gather or thankful or blessed. Like I'm totally into that stuff because I'm a young millennial. So of course I would be into just like that kind of stuff. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes sense in my head. Just tying off so I can actually start my next color. So again, I'm just smushing the white part to make sure I'm happy with it, unsmushing it a little bit. So, Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's get back to like the focus. Oh, I don't think I said it, but share with me your concepts. Whether you just have an idea and you don't really want to do it, or you just don't think you'll have time to do it because life. Or if you're like, oh, I'm definitely going to do that this weekend, but I'm going to do my Thanksgiving wreath, or I'm going to do a Christmas wreath. Let me know, or just a regular house wreath. Let me know what you do. Send me a picture to my email, or show me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I would love to see what you guys do because, again, I was totally inspired by some other really awesome ladies. I have no problem saying that some of this was my inspiration, I guess my own idea, but like not the heart of it, not the core of it. So take this and run with it. So Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's get back to that core concept. I grew up just like not liking this movie whatsoever. I just didn't get it. I didn't really care for the animation style. I always kind of liked the song like where Jack goes like, what's this? What's this? Because that's just cute, right? Like how could you not like that at all? But honestly, one of my best friends growing up too loved this movie, was obsessed with it. So you'd think we would have sat down and like watched it together a whole bunch because I was over her house like every single day. But no, I just was always like, no, let's watch something else. I don't like this movie at all. And so throughout my entire adult life, I was like, I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't like it. I don't get it. I don't care for it. I don't want to buy anything related to it. Like, I would actively kind of get annoyed when I saw merch for it, because I'm like, that could have been merch for something I do enjoy, you know? I don't know if you feel that way ever, but I do. That's so silly. Anywho, so after talking to all you guys about it, you're very divided as well. I mean, if you're still watching this video, I'm guessing you're more likely to be in favor of Nightmare Before Christmas, but a lot of you are split on it, and you're not like lukewarm about your feelings either. Like, it's your favorite or you don't like it. And so I kind of said to John, maybe we should give it another chance. I'm a big fan of giving anything a second chance. A food I don't like, a ride at Disney I didn't care for, a movie, obviously, a book. You know, I'm a big fan of second chances, because we don't always all make the best first impression, right? So I think it's almost time to count, but because I have not been able to keep track of how many times I've been wrapping this with, while talking to you guys. But I don't know, I'm pretty good at guessing, and I think I am just about there. So I'm gonna quickly count, and then I'll tell you what happened. 30 on the dot. Wow, okay, that's good. That's a big boost to my guessing self-confidence today. All right, time to cut this black string so I can switch off to the white. Then we're getting so close. So close to halfway done this wreath. Really close, okay. So I'm gonna give you an update on that too. But, you may have heard me talk about this in my last haul video, but I got a chance to meet up with my friend Katie from the channel Over the Mooney, and she's awesome, and you should watch her channel, and I will always tell you that. Getting my yarn ready to tie on, double knot it so it's secure. And anyway, so John was home by himself all day because we do everything together. Like, if one of us actually has plans without the other, it is very rare, and the other one of us like does not know what to do with ourselves. Like, anytime I'm filming, like right now, he's just downstairs. Like, he's not like off, like out gallivanting and having fun. Like, he's like, okay, I'll wait for you to film, and then we can film together, or we'll do something else together. And actually, we have really fun plans for tonight that totally go along with this video that I can't wait to tell you about. But I will. I'll tell you. I get off track way too much, so I'm gonna try to go in chronological order from now on. All right, that's the knot. The knot is like the longest part of doing this, because you want to make sure it's secure. So, I get home, John's at home by himself all day, up to who knows what, and not knowing what to do with himself. So he thought about the fact that I said we should give Nightmare Before Christmas a second chance. And so he bought it on Amazon. And so that night I got home, and he also had bought me season 1 of DuckTales, because I also had mentioned that I hadn't seen that since I was super little. I barely remembered it, but it's so back right now. So I really wanted to kind of relive it. So that night we decided just to watch some DuckTales, because I got home pretty late from the mall, from shopping, and we were pretty tired. But I think it was like the next day. We were like, do you want to watch Nightmare Before Christmas? Yeah, let's give it a shot, I guess. And when it was done, I was like, I'm gonna be one of those middling people. I'm like one of those rare unicorns who is like, I kind of like it. Like, I like it. It's good. It's in, maybe it's not something I dislike anymore, which is great, because I don't like not liking things, you know? But like, I don't love it. It's great. It's good. It's good. And meanwhile, John then says to me, that's now one of my favorite movies. And not Disney movies, movies. And I was like, oh my god, am I wrong for not loving this more? Should I give it another chance? So anyway, that was a couple weeks ago. Since then, I've given it a bunch more chances. And it is now one of my favorite movies as well, and Zero is my favorite character, and Jack is John's favorite character from the movie, but not just that, people. Not only is Jack John's favorite Nightmare Before Christmas character, he just told me today that Jack Skellington is his favorite Disney character. Just let that sink in for a second. It was always Mulan. ever since John was a little boy, Mulan has been his favorite Disney character. And all of a sudden, Jack Skellington has swooped in, stolen Mulan's thunder, and is now John's absolute favorite Disney character. So I see a lot more, since we both love it now, I see a ton more crafts and merch and watching the movie in our future. Let me do a quick count to see where we're at. Again, 30 on the dot. This is bizarre, guys. This is like such weird luck, I guess. Anywho, let me tell you about our plans tonight. Actually, I said I was going to go in chronological order. There's one more Nightmare Before Christmas detail I think I should throw in there. So we live in Philadelphia, and while we do have a couple of Disney store, actually I can only think of one Disney store that's at a mall relatively close to me. It's still like 30 plus minutes away. I was really interested in trying out a Disney outlet, and because I really wanted to get some good deals, you know? Who doesn't? Double nodding, okay. And so I asked John if we could drive up to Jackson, New Jersey, which was an hour away for us. And I was like, can we go to the outlets? And of course he said yes, because he does not say no to me. And I'm not saying that to sound spoiled or anything like that, but my husband does spoil me, and he doesn't say no to me. So, oh my god, guys, I think we're just about there. Look at this. Quick update. This is where we are. This black is going to be the last color. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, then we get to work on the Sally side. Alright, so we decided to go to the outlets. And what is playing when we walk in but The Nightmare Before Christmas? And it's this scene where Boogie's boys, Lock, Shock, and Barrel are hatching their plan to kidnap Sandy Claus. And again, no matter how much I like that movie, my opinions keep changing. Because I was like, oh, I really like this movie, but I'm not that into the kids. Now I'm like super into the kids. And my least favorite characters are actually Dr. Finkelstein. I don't really care for him that much at all. I do like at the end when he creates his like wife outlet and she looks exactly like him. I think that's hysterical. And I kind of, I don't know, the mayor I'm kind of ambivalent on. Just kind of like neutral on the mayor. I like him, but he's not my fave. Sally is one of my lesser favorite characters. Like, I really enjoy mostly the side characters from that film. Anyway, so the entire time, and we were there for quite a while shopping, that we were in the Disney outlet, they were playing Nightmare Before Christmas, and then at the end we both got to play an Oogie Boogie game, which was like so unexpected and so much fun. They had this big Oogie Boogie cutout, and anyone who purchased something, and John actually made a purchase for me because it was something I didn't want to spend the money on, so he bought it for me. Again, spoiled. And so he made a purchase for me, and then I made like a bunch of purchases already thinking about Christmas. And then just a bunch of things for me that I'll show you on an upcoming haul in November. But we got to play this game, and we each got to roll a set of dice, which is, you know, something Oogie Boogie is known for. And depending on what number you rolled, you got to get a prize. I mean, everyone won a prize, but it depends what you got. And I saw that they had like cards with characters on them, and I was like, if we could just get like Jack and Sally or Jack and Zero like trading cards, that would be perfection. Like, that's all I want. I'm gonna quickly, maybe one more, quickly pause and count this, and then I'll tell you what we actually won. Ah, 29 that time. It was just shy. Okay, so last one. There we go. And now I can kind of smush it to the side and see what I see. Let's do a quick. All right, we are definitely just about at the halfway mark, and this is where Mickey and Minnie will sit. So a lot of this is going to get covered anyway, so I don't, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on Sally's colors. Now here's what I like about the Sally side. Jack I wanted to make very even and just black and white. Sally is going to be completely haphazard and all over the place. So I just am going to pick a color at random and get started. I think I'll start with this super cool purple. I like how it looks next to the black. Anyway, so I rolled a 10 and John rolled an 11, and apparently if you rolled that high, you did get the trading cards, which was so fun. And so I went first, and I randomly selected a Sally card, which it was really cool looking too. I'll show you in that haul, but it was really neat looking. And so then when she said John also rolled a number to get a trading card, I was like, oh my god, we have to get Jack. Like, I didn't want the mayor, who I saw was an option, because like Sally and the mayor, like no. I really, really wanted Jack. So I happened to notice, I'm going to be honest with you guys, because we're friends and I can be. This is a safe space here. I noticed that she quickly like flashed me accidentally, I think, what the cards looked like before John got to pick. And so I said to John, I was like, oh, I think you should, I'm feeling the one on the left. I think you should pick that one, which I knew was the Jack card. And so she showed me and I was like, oh my god, it's Jack. So now we have these like really cute Jack and Sally trading cards, which maybe I'll like put in like a photo frame or something. Maybe we'll be them for Halloween one year or something, I don't know. Oh, I'm so excited to get started on the Sally part of this then. I'm not going to make you listen to me throughout this entire thing. I'm probably just going to finish my story, finish wrapping it, show you guys some updates in between, and finish it off, because you guys don't want to hear me talk for another like 20 minutes probably. Anyway, so we're leaving. This is just this morning. We left the outlet. Oh, this is so nice that this is just totally random. I'm going to do some big sections, some little sections, so I don't even have to worry about counting at all. And the part I'm doing right now, the characters are pretty much just going to be sitting on, so it's more the upper part I have to worry about anywho. Anyway, so on the way back, we were talking about what we were going to do tonight after filming, obviously, and because you guys are my priority. And we decided to look and see if a movie was out. We kind of been talking about seeing the movie Venom, so I was like, maybe, oh, let me see if that's still out. And I went, and it was, and I was just about to suggest it to John, but I decided to just check what other movies my theater currently had. Guys, it was like a sign. Can you see where this is going? And you're probably like, what? No, that can't be where she's going with it. But you're smart. You probably can figure it out. They're showing The Nightmare Before Christmas tonight. Like, really? So random. Like, obviously I know it's close to Halloween, but still, I think I'm going to end with the purple. I'm just going to do a small segment of purple because I really want this to look super random. I'm going to do black between all of the different colors because that's supposed to represent, in my opinion, in my imagination, I should say, the stitching between the different segments of her dress. So just to let you know while I continue the story. I said to John, I was like, he's going to probably be like, we own this movie. I just purchased it on Amazon and we've been watching it nonstop for like 2 weeks. Why would I want to, this is all in my head, by the way. This is what I thought was going to go down if I asked him if he wanted to see the movie. He was like, why, in my head, he was going to say, why would I want to see a movie that came out in I think it said 1993. Why would I want to go see a movie that came out so long ago that I own at home and have already watched? Well, guys, I did not give John enough credit because he was like, that sounds so much fun. We should absolutely do that. I want to see what it looks like on the big screen. So that's what we're doing. We used Fandango, we already purchased our tickets, and that's that. Next color I decided to go for, yellow. So I thought what I could do also was talk to you guys a little bit about what were my favorite parts of the film. And my favorite part is so weird. It's so bizarre. Like, you're gonna be like, why is that your favorite part? It's like it's like 5 seconds long, but I just love it. It's when Jack sends the kids, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, to go kidnap Sandy Claus. And they bring back somebody. Do you remember who it is? They went to the wrong door. And they went to the Easter door and they brought back the Easter Bunny. And the Easter Bunny is so cute, which looks so just out of place in Halloween Town. So I like that. But I also just like that the bunny, he comes out of the sack and Jack is like, I'm sorry, sir. And I don't know. There's something about that moment that is really, really funny to me. I think it's hysterical. And 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 Jack then yells at the kids like, take him home. And it's such a small moment, but I think that movie is all small moments. Like it's a lot of songs and then small things that you have to watch a few times to kind of get. And I really, really love it. There's also this moment where the mayor, he's going to Jack's house, and Jack is, I think he's currently in the forest. I don't think he's actually entered Christmas Town yet, or Christmas Land. But he's like in the forest and he's gonna find it soon, but so he's not at his house. So the mayor is coming to talk to Jack about like next Halloween, and he's drawn up plans, which are just like symbols of, I think it's just like a black cat and maybe a bat. I can't remember what's actually on the plans, but the last time we watched it, John looks at me and goes, you realize Jack's not home and the mayor is just holding up a piece of paper that he drew on to an empty door, like to a door. He's showing a paper to a door. And I don't know, that's just like, there's something about that really tickled me and made me laugh. The mayor is such an absurd character. And he also, something I love because I identify with this so much, is that the mayor panics like immediately. Like Jack, okay, so Jack couldn't just be sleeping, Jack couldn't just be like doing something. The mayor instantly is like, Jack, you have to talk to me right now. And his happy face goes to his panicked face, and it happens all in like an instant. And I think that's really amazing. And then honestly, just the other parts are like all the side characters. I love all of them. I'm not that into Oogie Boogie, to be quite honest with you. Because I mean, he's just like a sack full of bugs. Like, that's gross. I don't like that. But I appreciate him. I do appreciate him as the villain in the film. I do. I just, I don't know. He's not my fave. He's not my fave villain. I guess I don't really identify with his motives. Like, I don't really know why he's doing what he's doing. That's never quite explained, other than he's just like a bad guy. Oh, he's bad, so he does bad things. Okay, that's not quite enough of a motive for me. I guess he's I think Oogie Boogie is kind of trying to like take over. Oh, see, I'm talking and I don't want to actually put as much black for the stitches that I have, so I'm just quickly undoing that. And see how easy it is to fix a mistake while you do this? And you won't make these mistakes because you won't be talking to YouTube and all your invisible internet friends. Oh, I'm so excited to use this teal, because nothing says Halloween like teal, right? Speaking of being Halloweeny, that is, I think I have kind of a controversial opinion. Before I saw this movie again, like when I just thought about what I thought about it when I was a kid, which is, again, a very ill-informed opinion, and probably not the way to make your adult decisions, but based on what you liked when you were like 8, I definitely was like, anyone who said that Nightmare Before Christmas was a Christmas movie, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's all about Halloween. Until I watched it again, and I turned to John and I was like, I get it. This is a Christmas movie. Like, I'm one of those people. And you might be like shaking your head right now and you're like, girl, you had me this whole video, but you've lost me now. And now, okay, I will honestly say I think it's a both movie. I think it's a Halloween movie and I think it's a Christmas movie, and I will be watching it all year long probably. But I just really like it as a Christmas movie. Like, there's so much Christmas involved. I didn't remember. I didn't realize. I didn't remember. There's so much in it that's Christmas. And Santa Jack, I like, John's favorite Jack is Pumpkin Jack, when he shows up from being the Pumpkin King from the last Halloween in the beginning of the movie. And my favorite Jack is Santa Jack. Like, I just love, he's really trying, like, and I appreciate that about Jack. Like, he knew next to nothing about Christmas. He just learns about it, and then he's like, I'm gonna be king of Christmas now. Which I get, because I also, like Jack, have an unnaturally unearned sense of, I mean, he's kind of earned, he's definitely earned being the Halloween king, but he hasn't earned anything about being a Christmas guy. But he's just like, no, I'm gonna do this now, I'm gonna be the best at it, and it's gonna be awesome, and people are gonna love it. I also, like Jack, have an unnaturally high self-confidence. Maybe you need to have a YouTube channel. I'm just saying. Maybe you need to. At least it helps. Kind of lost my train of thought what I was saying. But anyway, we love the songs in the movie. The only song I don't really like I don't, Oogie Boogie song is okay. I don't like at all Sally's song, where she's just singing by herself, like kind of, I think just like pining over Jack. I'm not even sure, to be honest, what it's about, because I just don't enjoy it. But what John and I both love Jack's songs, but we have a different favorite Jack song. Oh, I know what I was gonna say, but I'll get back to it. Is that John loves one of the very first songs in the movie. We both love the first song about like, this is Halloween, and they introduce you to all the really cool like Halloween guys in the town. I love them. I love them all. But so after that, Jack goes off into like the graveyard where Sally, I believe she overhears this part. Yes, she does. And Jack is just singing about kind of like how no one gets it and no one understands, and he can't really explain it to anyone, that he's just so sick of like Halloween, which obviously sets up the whole conflict in the movie and the whole plot in the movie. But John was like, I just identify with Jack so much, like, because I love my job. I'm lucky enough to be one of those people who has a job that really is fulfilling and satisfying, and I love it. But John he kind of is one of those people who he has a job that he's really, really good at. And that's it. Like, that's the end of the line. Like, it's not a fulfilling job. It's not like his dream job. It's just a job. And that's kind of how Jack is feeling at the beginning of the movie. He's like, yeah, I'm the Pumpkin King. That's great. Like, that's great. But he actually says, I'm getting so tired of the same old thing. And like, John was like, yep, that's me. Like, I feel that in my soul. I mean, obviously those are my words, because you guys know me, that's how I talk. But then my favorite, and again, it totally goes back to me and Jack sharing like an unearned and unnaturally high self-confidence, that at the end, when Jack has officially destroyed Christmas for many boys and girls, and adults alike, and he's in another graveyard, and he's kind of like pitying himself. He's like, oh me, oh my, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's very upset. And then all of a sudden, out of just nowhere, he's like, you know what? What he says is, I did my best, and I think it's okay. Like, it's pretty good. Like, and then he goes and like saves Santa, and Santa saves Christmas. So, I mean, Jack ruined Christmas, but he kind of saves it as well. So, I don't know. That's why I always found Jack to be very morally ambiguous. He's not really a good guy. He's not really a bad guy. He just kind of is Jack. And I just really identify with that. Like, kind of like messing up and doing something maybe you're not supposed to, or not in the way you mean to, and then just being like, who cares? Like, I did my best. Like, I'm great. So John and I like Jack for very different reasons, I think. But yeah, Jack is great. Zero I love. And I like all the different creatures. Like, I like, John doesn't like the clown who can tear his face away, because John's not afraid of clowns. I know a lot of you probably out there are like, oh, I hate clowns. I am not afraid of clowns. Like, yeah, I'm afraid of like It, because he's like a murder clown. But like, that's it. I'm afraid of murder clowns. Those are the only clowns. Like a normal clown, I would welcome a normal clown. Like, yay, oh my god, you're so cute. I know, weird, right? I don't think a normal clown who's going to make me a balloon animal, which I love, or paint my face, is going to murder me. I just don't see it happening. So, anywho, John doesn't like the clown. I'm fine with the clown. I don't really have a feeling about him. I like the guys who are like the same guy, like a nesting doll effect, but like under each other's top hat. I really like them. We both love the vampires. I just bought a pin that features the vampires, and I'm like really excited to show you guys that at some point. They're just all great. I would love to hear who your favorite Nightmare Before Christmas side character is down below. Alright, I want to show you guys a quick progression so that you can kind of see how it's coming along. So obviously we have the Jack side, which I love, and then can you see the Sally side coming together? I'll show you a close-up. I'm deliberately making it look haphazard. I'm deliberately putting things in different orders and not following a pattern. I'm deliberately putting the black to represent the stitches, kind of just making it look crazy. Now, this part is, if you see here, I have little ties all organized in different, like, evenly spaced amounts. And here I have a ton of colors going on, and I haven't trimmed them all yet because I'm just moving so quickly through this part. And so if you don't want to do so much of the color changes because you don't want to deal with all this, go for it. You could easily do equal color amounts of Sally as well. You could do anything you want. It would be your craft. But this is how it's looking so far. I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I've kind of burned out most of the Nightmare Before Christmas talk I had, and my camera might die, who knows. So I think I'm gonna just quickly finish this whole thing up and then show you, and then we'll put everything together. Alright, so after a brief interruption where my yarn was attacked by a kitty cat, I was able to finish everything up, and I'm really loving how it turned out. I am thinking that I might need to glue down the ends. I'll show you that, the ends of the yarn, but we'll see. So here it is. Here's the final product. We have the Jack Skellington side and we have the Sally side. And really, I mean, this could go either way. I kind of had it in my head that it was going to be this way. Ta-da! The final frame, the final wreath, I should say. And I love how the Jack side is looking very, like, organized and uniform, and the Sally side is looking very thrown together. I like how the stitches came out. I'm really just happy with all of it. I like how everything kind of is mismatched and not in a pattern. That's what I was going for. Let me show you the back so you can see the back looks much messier. Actually looks like stitches, kind of, doesn't it? Like stitches popping out. And so from the front you can kind of see, like, right here, one of these, it has escaped, a couple have escaped. I may just end up gluing those down, we'll see. So the last part, of course, is putting Jack and Sally / Mickey and Minnie in their parts of the wreath. I did take off their tags in preparation for this, so that would be a step, and I'm trying to right now hide Mickey's park tag. I guess Minnie, Sally, yeah, hers is under her dress, but his is kind of poking out, so I don't know. I could always glue that down too if that winds up being an issue. Alright, so 2 possible ways to do this. I know the way that I have in my head, but you never know how it's going to work out. Alright, I planned on putting them in the frame, kind of like they were. So kind of sort of something like this, until they're actually in properly, they're not gonna kind of sit quite right. And I think this is how I want to do it, with Minnie being on the Sally side and Mickey being on the Jack side, but you could always reverse it as well, which would look something like this. So that's kind of cute also, but I think I just like them on their own respective sides the best. So in my original concept, I was going to just hot glue these guys, but I'm starting, and I think you could. If you really were very precise with your hot glue, you could definitely do that. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking that probably sewing them would be the best case, and I'm not a sewer. But my mother-in-law is, and I think if I take this to her, she will sew it for me. And I think that with sewing it, it would be more precise, and I'm kind of worried about ruining the plushes with the hot glue. So, you know, sometimes when you're doing a craft, the unexpected comes up. So I think I'm gonna ask my mother-in-law to help me fix this, or finish it, I should say. But that's pretty much it. Guys, it's pretty much the craft. So I'm gonna go get ready to go see Nightmare Before Christmas very soon, and drop these guys off to my mother-in-law to be finalized. Okay, quick update. It's a whole different day. I'm wearing a different outfit and everything. No mouse ears right yet. But I'm really excited. I had to jump on and film this for you guys right away because I went to see my mother-in-law this morning, and I thought maybe she would eventually kind of get to sewing on Mickey and Minnie for me. But she did it right away, immediately. So here they are. Here's the final product, our Nightmare Before Christmas wreath, and I'm going to bring this a lot closer so you can see it, but she put just very delicate stitching on a couple of, like, the feet, the hands, etc. And then I asked her to sew their hands together, which she did for me. So I totally love this. I hope you guys love this. I hope that it inspires you to make your own kind of wreath, whether it's Halloween themed or not, whether it's Nightmare Before Christmas themed or not. There's a lot of cool things that you could do. Again, I'm thinking of like some cool Christmas options with maybe some red and green yarn. So I'm gonna give you a close-up and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. So here's the lovely couple together. You can definitely see the wreath peeking out from behind them, but obviously you could decide like, ooh, should I get smaller plushes so I can see more of the wreath, or should I do a bigger wreath? It's really up to you. I really like how this turned out. And this definitely was much easier to stitch them to, like stitch their heads, for instance, whereas if you got a bigger wreath, then their heads might not go all the way up to the top. It might be a little harder to stitch them on. So that's just something to consider. I will be hot gluing down all of these little pieces that are left of the yarn where it was tied on, but I mean, that is a different task for a different day when I have more time and fewer videos to film. And just a cute close-up of their faces together. They were simply meant to be. Thank you so much for watching along with me. I can't wait to hear your comments down below, and I'll see you really, really soon.